Hello! Welcome to 2024! The great year of our Lord 2024. Welcome to this first live stream of this particular year. Which Lord? Whichever Lord you wish, my dear. So, we started off quite good. Thank you for the 30-month Kangi, Slime, 38 months Duvel, 25 and Major Geeks. That's a lot already, although it's kind of saved up from the previous few weeks, of course. So, I'm very excited for this year. Have some great video ideas. And have some great stream ideas as well. How am I doing? I had a lovely vacation. Had some days out with friends and my brother, which were all lovely. And watched some speed skating, did some commentary for speed skating. Just chilled in general. It was all very nice. Played some RCT in your free time. No. I don't play RCT in my free time. Well, I kind of do, but I just stream it. That's all the kind of normal RCT I play. Is this a colossally cramped, crazy castle? No. No, it's not. This will just be a stream. I gifted 3 of my Ukrainian friends RCT 1 and 2. Ooh. I hope they enjoy it. I hope you all had a nice vacation too, or if you didn't have a vacation, at least some nice holidays. Which were on work days, so at least you got those off. Unless you had to work during the holidays, which some people of course do. Also, happy birthday to your cat, Carrie. So yeah, happy 2024 to you all. Wish you all the best this year. And let's get going. Ooh. Well, we all know the goal. It's 1500 guests in 2 years. We also know I don't give a crap about the goal, right? We're just here to build a funky park. So, first thing we do, maximum funding. Do we need shops and stalls? No. Well, sort of for the cash machine maybe, but that'll take a year. That'll take us a year to get. You know what? I could just now, I'll just go over the cash machine first. I want to make tons of money. Okay, let's start by drinking some water and then we'll drown guest 69 as soon as we can. It's good to see you all again. Okay, do we have guest 69? No, not yet, obviously. But maybe we'd start after that. I didn't know. This time I want to keep all the path around. I mean, I might like destroy a little thing here or there, but I'm not gonna destroy any of the path or the scenery. Not like everything. Which I would have done plenty of times in the past, but we don't need to destroy it. We can do perfectly well with it intact. How did you manage the last few weeks not be able to drown any guests? With great difficulty, my friend. With great difficulty. I almost died, but I managed to drown one at 3 AM and save my life. I feel dizzy as hell, so thank you for encouraging me to sit down and watch the stream. Well, I hope you feel better soon. Right, now we don't need to use the, what's it called? The ride price plugin. We can do it ourselves. We don't need to be lazy today. Just the thing that's been happening, random dizziness. Well, I hope it either stops soon or you see a doctor. If it's not that bad, then you can probably deal with it. Have you Googled it? I would advise against doing that. Because Google will probably just tell you that you're gonna die in 3 days. As it usually does. Google will suggest brain cancer, yeah, or something like that. I saw a doctor back then and she said I had an inner ear problem. That makes sense, because your balance is in your ears. Wait a minute. Something looks different. Why is this thing so wide? The build menu isn't supposed to be this wide. Did I change it? Hang on. The wrong height labels. Oh, that was for a video. That was my doing. Yeah, I need to change that back to real values. There we go. I want to test something. Yeah. They added a separate... Okay, so what happened is they added a separate icon for tiny turns. Tiny turns and small turns now have a different icon. So, when I was building this just now, at first I recognized that this icon was wrong. I was like, that icon looks weird for the small turn. And then I realized, oh, it's probably for the tiny turn. And if you look at this, the tiny turn icon is the old small turn icon. Which makes sense, because you can't really make it any smaller than that. That's interesting. Did you play Buckshot Roulette? Never heard of it. So, no. It's very small, not tiny. Yeah, but it's tiny, you know? I've been calling it the tiny turn in my videos. And even before that, my entire life, so it's the tiny turn. You have large, medium, small, tiny. This is a very helix heavy ride. I understand. I also call mine tiny. It's not even been 10 minutes. And someone's already made the first dick joke. Ooh, that's a very long train. Let's make that shorter so we can have 2 of them. There we go. 10 minutes seems kind of late. Well, there might have been an earlier one that I missed. Who knows? Guess 69 in the park yet. They should be. Yeah, they are. Okay, I'll store them there for a minute. You know, we have water here, but that's, you know, I want them to drown where they can be seen dying. Because what's the point if no one sees it, right? Does a guest really drown if no one is around to see it? Wait, snow and ice theming? That was the first one. Dang it, then we have to wait another extra month before we get the cash machine. Put a toilet next to the drowning pond so the next drowned guests will drown in grosser water. Well, there you go. Should I put on the yellow water as well to fully go for the joke, or the brown water, which both of them Max made? Guest 69 Memorial Coaster. Alright. Also, no, I will not do that. I would like to keep the water looking natural. Why did I start this with a helix? That's a terrible way to start a coaster. Not even a single tiny downwards hill. Ooh, how about blue trains? Oh, that's nice. It doesn't have to look gross to be contaminated with raw sewage. That's true. Water can look entirely clean and safe, yet be quite deadly. Okay, so the stats we get are 425, 452. Hey, those are anagrams, and 297. I'll do 6. That's reasonable, right? Alright, time for some stalls. Right, we don't need a toilet, we already have a toilet. Maybe not the most healthy one, but it's not my problem. Yeah, let's make everyone lime green. Why not? And also lime green balloons. Just everything lime green. Hey, thank you for the 2 months. SPF CCMT. That's not a name that's easily pronounceable. Cheers to your 2024 as well. You mean Shrek green? No, no, no. Shrek is definitely a darker shade. Pyrographed. Is that like etching something on something using fire? Because, you know, pyro. You know what, I want to do some scenery here. It's the default trees. Well, technically they're not really that default. These are all default trees, but these are for me default trees. How do they work so well? Fractal wood burning, that's something for mathematicians. It's kind of funny, because Cringe said hello Marcel in chat and then 3 emojis. And then Slime responds to that and then the emojis are just spelled out. Hey Marcel in jest. Lost kitten hey, lost kitten love, and then and then it cuts off. It's using electricity to burn patterns into wood, and it's dangerous as hell. People have died. Okay. I had never heard of it. But yeah, sounds dangerous. So yeah, how about you don't do that? Because I would like it if you do the thing that we don't call dying, aka living. Now a fence around it. That's a hedge, but good enough. The fences are a bit too offensive anyway. Boo. You will suffer my bad jokes. And you will enjoy them. Ah, I like these original colors. You know what we should do? We should borrow more money and advertise. We don't need all that money, but it's fine. There was a YouTuber who made a video that explained the dangers of doing it. Her video got taken down. All the videos which actually showed it and showed how to do it didn't. Well, yeah, obviously. Wait, why did we get another... Did I... Oh, bloody hell. Why did I do scenery and theming instead of shops and stalls? Well, that cost us 2 months. At least we now got more interesting themes, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It makes total sense that her video got taken down and the others didn't. Because she talked about the dangerous thing, but also mentioned bad words. And the YouTubes does not like the bad words. So, I get it. If you're talking about that, I get how YouTube made that decision, how the algorithms made the decision. I don't get it, because it's stupid. I don't think she swore. No, I don't mean bad words as in swearing. I mean bad words as in saying like die or get injured. Love the fire. Oh, we can add some more, baby. We can add more fire. The most dangerous pirate ship in the world. I want more fire. I want absolutely more fire. So much more fire. Oh wait, that's wrong. And then for the last color we'll use umber. That looks nice. This is not hot at all. Oh, that looks dangerous. Spit roast. I burned a shrek head in wood for a decoration in some wood with a solder bout of sorts. Like a soldering, whatever. It's in English. Looks like meat back on the menu, boys. I don't know how he actually says it. I just know it's a thing from Lord of the Rings with the orcs. I love how the queue lines got kind of cheery, you know, bright blue, bright white, and then you get to the right and it's like, do you like death? Do you like death by flames? I was like, this is not a spitter out of stall, but then I thought back about the original meaning of the word. Now, the original meaning of the word is literally a spit. Oh, never mind. I thought you made the reverse joke that you actually made. Is there fitting music to this fire on the ship? Oh, probably. We got pirates so far, which I think for death is fairly appropriate. Horror style. And that fits. It's a bit quiet, but you can hear it. plants can't grow in sewage water. Well, I'm about to prove you're wrong. So many plants. What do you mean they can't grow in sewage water? Okay, how about a big ol' woody? Do you guys remember what we called the very first wooden coaster I ever built on a Twitch stream? That was also my very first Twitch stream, which was also in Crazy Castle. Don't look it up. I'll make it there. Was it Marcel's Giant Woody? No, that was during a Leafy Lake stream. You know what, I actually want this elevated. Bum Rumbler, that's right. We called it Bum Rumbler. Yeah, wheat is a plant, Mr. Veterals. I think you meant weeds. Like W-E-E-D-S. Which is different, but also still a plant. Ah, this looks weird. These should be the tiny turns. Like, literally, I was like, wait, do we have medium steep turns now? Like, bigger steep turns? No, these are the small turns, but this looks so weird. Because these are on one tile. I was very confused there for a second. Ooh, we just got the cookie shop. Do you think RCT Classic on the mobile is worth buying? Yes. I mean, if you have a tiny mobile screen, then it's a bit fiddly. But I've never played it on mobile, but people say it's good. On a tablet, I've heard it works phenomenally well. Do we have any staffs? Yes. RCT Classic was made for mobile in mind. Not just for mobile in mind, but literally made for mobile. The thing is that, you know, needing to drag and drop things, being the game that Roller Coaster Tycoon is, it's a bit fiddly. And it will never work as well as it does on a computer. But from what other people have said, it works fine if your phone is kind of big or if you have a tablet. Make them wear lime green. Ooh, that's a good idea. Just all the accents in the park will be lime green. Now let's hire some actual staff. How did you get your first RCT2 cereal box? No, it was just bought for us by our parents. I never had cereal as a kid. Cereal is not a big thing in the Netherlands. Like, some people do eat it for breakfast. It exists. But it's not a very big thing. We usually eat bread. Or, I think the word is porridge? Is that for pop? Anyone who knows if I'm wrong, correct me. Ooh, the forgotten track piece. That looks ugly here because you bank and unbank. Porridge pop. Okay, so I got that right. You know, it's those English words that you don't use a lot. Like, when do I ever talk about porridge? That you're like, do I know those words? And then you notice that you're definitely not native. Or anywhere close to native. Because those are kind of things that you'll notice more if you... That you'll really get to know if you live in the country. Because if I lived in the UK or America, then I would inevitably hear someone say, ooh, I had porridge for breakfast or something like that. And then you're like, okay, that works. And you learn that. But if you're just doing English for your job here, then you encounter stuff like that a lot less. Right, that is our wooden coaster. You know, rice porridge is a dessert here actually, rijstepap. And I've had it once, and it was not nice. We don't really use the word porridge much here, but there's oatmeal, grits, and congee. I've never heard of grits or congee. I mean, oatmeal is havermout pap. Which is like a... I believe. So that's a separate thing. Right. Open up, baby. Rice to fly. Why, what? Why would you ever want rice in... I guess a pie? Is a pie like... You have the Dutch words vlaai and taart, which I would both translate to pie. Is there a better word for it in English? Ooh, no, that's too dark. That's too blue. That's nice and regal. Vlaai is pie and tart is cake. No. Because apple pie is not apple vlaai, but apple tart. So... The titty rumbler. Why? I mean, I get why, because bum rumbler, you know, but... I mean, I guess it would rumble your titties if you had them. Don't have personal experience with that. Rice pudding, yeah, that kind of works, I guess. Trust me, Marcel, I'm right. Hang on, if I Google apple pie, then I get what I would call... I mean, I get both what I call a tart and what I call a vlaai. So, they're the same to me. Like... Still no cash machine. No, we will get it in February year 2. Could have gotten it 2 months earlier, but I accidentally had it set to unlocking scenery instead of stalls. Another display of my expert level of play here. You see, the downside of advertising is that once you start advertising, you can't stop. Well, I mean, you could, but then you don't get any more guests because you're above your soft guest cap, yada yada yada. Stats 702 893 517. We can charge 3 for this. If you make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. That's some quote from somewhere. Thank you for the 27 months, Donzia. Using the price calculator. Nope. The guests have nowhere to sit. That's not true. They have the ground. You can sit perfectly well on the ground. Wait, February here too. Why did I say February? I meant the second month. So, April. I was a bit confused with reality. Hey, there were actually benches here already that I didn't place. Huh. Drown guest 2024. Mate, we only have 720 guests in the park. It's only been half a year. We're not at 2024 yet. Theoretically, you could get there in half a year, though. It's not impossible. But then you have to optimize a slight bit more than we did here. What is this big open path area? It was made by whoever designed this scenario, which is not me. I was 5 when they designed this scenario, so don't blame me. I've never played RCT before. Well, welcome to the stream. Question then. How did you find me or this stream? Or have you played RCT1 perhaps? Ah, yes. Well, I can tell you that the Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 scenarios are much better. Found the YouTube. Yeah, that is how most people find me. Discoverability on Twitch is just bad. Like, trying to grow by just doing Twitch and nothing else is very, very hard. Although on the Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's at least somewhat possible, because there are only ever a few people streaming it at once. So someone can start streaming Roller Coaster Tycoon and find you. Now compare that to something like Minecraft, where there will be hundreds if not thousands of people streaming it. And it's pretty much impossible to be found if you have 0 viewers. Marcel is the only person I know who's streaming RCT on Twitch. There are quite a few more that either have it as their main game or do it occasionally. I am by far the biggest, and of course someone bigger than me, or plenty of other people of similar size, will occasionally stream it. I've been raided by someone with 1,000 viewers and once with someone with 2,000 viewers, and I'm not sure if they were playing RCT, although I'm pretty sure one of them at least was. Ah, we already have a pirate ship. Andralzik. Yeah, Andralzik does. Very different from me, though. I built one park in a stream. Sometimes take it a bit slower, but like this stream, I will build one park and then we'll never touch it again. He builds like one building in a stream, which is to be fair, entirely valid. And his buildings are much more detailed than anything I built will ever be. But it's such a harsh contrast. First guest arriving then. It doesn't deserve the park and must die. You mean the first guest arriving from whenever I decide to start looking for it? Or the first guest that ever arrived and is still in the park? This coaster is doing quite well. Nearly 3,000 per hour. Making me nearly 40k an hour. Alright, first one that's arriving now. So... whoever goes around that corner, which is Mr. Brown. No, Mr. Orange. Mr. Orange, you will die. In our sewage pond. Oh, crap. There's no place for death anymore here. Because oh, there we go. That one. No, it doesn't work. Alright, screw it. I will need to remove some of that. There we go. We can finally enjoy death again. This is why you don't put plants in your drowning pond. Imagine the YouTube video. I put plants in my drowning pond. Gone wrong. Gone sexual. Okay, we need some mining related buildings here, because it's a wooden coaster. Of course you need mining related buildings. Four drowning plants at the behest of this monster. Oh, I am very much a monster. Your pond didn't meet regulations for lethality. You wouldn't want to get in trouble? Oh, definitely not. I can't really afford to alter the entire ground. That's a bit too much on the expensive side. Now I have a question. We have 4 different like pine trees, right? Which of these is the best and why is it the one on the left? I guess the one on the right is slightly different from them. One the three on the left are very similar. One on the right has definitely a different trunk. I like the one on the right. The one on the right looks more like Arctic. I mean, the Arctic don't really have any trees, but like on the tundra. And the one on the left is more one that you would find, like, I don't know, in the Netherlands. Left doesn't look like a pine. Well, I meant needle trees. It's not really a pine tree, but a tree with needles. Like, what exactly, like, is a needle-leaved trees and broad-leaf trees or something like that? The difference? I mean, I suppose this one's needles too. Doesn't look like a needle tree either. Well, it does to me. Well, we can look it up. What is it? It's a Caucasian fir tree. Let me Google that. Yeah, that looks like needles to me. Evergreen. Well, not all needles are evergreen, though. There are a few that lose their needle. A fir is a pine tree. Is it? You know, all those tree names. It's another one of those things that you don't talk that much about. Like, it seems like obscure animal names or food names that, like, you don't really obscure this, but that's the stuff that's kind of hard to get a good grasp on as a non-native speaker. I feel the needle for Speedle. Need for Speed was such a great series. I mean, mostly Need for Speed Most Wanted, that was kind of my childhood racing game. You know, we should save. Crazy Castle, Jan 2024. That was a Top Gun quote though. Oh, I knew it wasn't from there, but I don't care. It's still a great quote. Okay, let's... Yeah, you know what we're doing. A Ferris wheel cylinder of love. If you want to see obscure names, just take a look at the IUCN red list. Is a red list like trees that are about to go extinct? Cylinder of love sounds like a euphemism. Hey baby, wanna see my cylinder of love? You know what, let's make this an extended cylinder of love. 7. Alright, you know what, let's first do all that. Can I write my Woody into your cylinder of love? Have we ever had a stream without any kind of innuendo? And I'm not counting Drowning Guest 69. Like that's kind of a joke because it's a joke. Doesn't really have much to do with it being the sex number anymore. So that doesn't count. So I wonder, have we ever had a stream where it's just like, where we were just normal? Whoops. Wrong orange. Welcome back, Max. Is any park complete without 500 guests from spammed flat ride? Right. Oh, we won't get any guests from these spammed flat rides. You know why? It's because we already have much more guests than the soft guest cap. They're all from ads. I mean, we still get some guests from natural guest generation. It's only divided by 4. It's not dead, but it's much, much lower. I was wondering in my first few RCT1 games why were guests complaining about that they want to leave the Ferris wheel. Well, Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 is a bit different from RCT2, naturally. And some things like when they complain about stuff is also a bit different, so I can't necessarily tell you. It shouldn't take, like, I know in RCT2 it takes them about 5 minutes 45 before they start complaining. It might be significantly shorter in RCT1. A Ferris wheel shouldn't be that long. There we go, there we have our rainbow Ferris wheels. Yeah, Max always has late dinner. That's just what Max does. Which is, like, he's a traitor. He's a traitor to the Netherlands. Because in the Netherlands we always have early dinners. That's our thing. Like, we are known internationally, same with like the Nordic countries and stuff, for doing early dinners. Like at 5, 5:30, 6 p.m. That's standard for us. You know, I never eat late dinners when I stream. Is 6 p.m. not a normal time? Well, for some countries, not really. That would be rather early. I mean, Spain is insanely late. Is it a Dutch... Oh, the birthday calendar. Oh, that's a very Dutch thing. I don't have that. That's just because I don't have any friends to put on there. Well, that's not true. But I don't have that. To be fair, I've had a handful of times that I got home from college with a migraine, went to sleep and had dinner at 10 p.m. I mean, yeah, it's not like Dutch people always have dinner at 6 p.m. We had exceptions as well over the years, but the usual would be around 6 p.m. But for Max, having dinner at 7 p.m. would be blasphemously early. And late for Max doesn't start until about 1 a.m. I think the latest I really ever have dinner is about 8:30. Obviously never on stream days, because, you know, stream. Eat when you're hungry. I mean, that kind of works sometimes, but doesn't really always work. Because if I don't eat at 7 p.m. but I got hungry at 8 p.m. on a stream day, then I can't eat until about 11, which is not very useful. So I'll just have normal dinner, and not doing that would be a bit dumb. I did shawarma at 4 a.m. countless of time. That's not really a dinner. That's more of a drunk food. I once had a kapsalon at, I don't know, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. A kapsalon is an entirely Dutch thing. It's fries with either kebab or shawarma meat. And then a lot of, I think usually garlic sauce. And then a lot of lettuce. Did I forget anything? Cheese. Oh yeah, of course, cheese. Fries are sort of a Dutch thing as well. I mean, they exist all over the world, of course. And, you know, having fries at McDonald's is very much an American thing too. But what I mean with fries is a Dutch thing, is that the idea of having just a fries shop, which we call the cafetaria. No, it's cafetaria? Why did I forget the word for it? A snack bar. Of course, too. Anyway, yeah, we call a snack bar. That doesn't really exist that much in other countries. I believe it exists in Belgium. But snack bars are just places that sell fries and an assortment of snacks Like frikadelle, croquette, a lot of other things with Dutch names. Mexicanos, berenhaps. Ooh, that's an English plural applied to a Dutch word. It's usually some kind of meat. Britain has chip shops. Now, fish and chips is very different. I mean, presumably there are some actual fries, like snack bars in Britain as well. And then there's Fabo to minimize human interaction. Yeah, that's just where you just get like a snack out of the wall. Yeah, but aren't like chippies in the UK like more potato parts instead of actual fries? We have war fries. Or, as we call it here, patatje oorlog. Which is, I don't exactly know what it is, to be honest. I mean, it's something with like, peanut sauce. Or satay sauce. Like mayo and satay sauce. I'm not exactly sure. I've never had one. Oh, onions, of course, as well. You didn't make the umbrellas lime green. Ooh, I forgot. Yes, I forgot. My bad. Heb je ooit van patatje vrede gehoord? Have you ever heard of peace fries as opposed to war fries? I have not. But have you heard of submarine fries? Submarine fries are both amazing and a war crime. So, submarine fries, or patatje duikboot, someone banned that guy, or that bot. It's just fries with so much mayo on it that you can't see the fries anymore. Which is, of course, that's just patatje met. No, that's patatje met. It's mayo with fries, not fries with mayo. It's fries under mayo. I love getting the opportunity to break out the ban hammer. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often here. We have usually quite a well-behaved chat, except for Slime. How many bans has Slime accrued? I don't think he's had any on my channel, technically. Marcel, he's like half your income. Maybe half my Twitch income. Twitch is actually like 5% or something of my YouTube income. Well, a little bit more, maybe like 8%. So while earning money with Twitch is very nice, and I'm not sure if I would be doing it if I didn't earn anything with it, Twitch is definitely not my main money maker, and I definitely don't do it just for the money. He watches your videos hundreds of thousands of times. Well, I have 40 million views, so that's still not that big a percentage, only like 1%. .420 is still in the park. Ah, there we go. Finally, 420 will die. Well, if they're still in the park, they might not be. And they are not. Unfortunately for you. Quite a few guests are running out of cash. We really need that cash machine. Because we're charging way too much for these rides. Fun fact, Marcel only has one unique viewer, me. You know, I find it very admirable and I'm very impressed that you're able to have so many computers running and so many be so many different people all responding to yourself, having conversations. Drown guest 419 and 421 to even it out. Oh, I can do that. I know it's someone else who said that, but I don't care. As long as death occurs. Oh, Blau likes the idea as well. And I also need to fire all my stuff. Oh, 421 is being spit roasted currently. There we go. Death shall befall you. And time to get rid of the staff. Time to resume coloring my log volume. You know, these logs, right? They look fairly wooden when they're like this. But then you color them like that and they're like, that's not wood. I mean, if you zoom in, these are not really wood either. They're clearly, I don't know, like plastic. Wow, your castle in Roller Coaster Tycoon is really giving me Mayor Fantasy Park vibes. Loving the attention to detail and creativity. The coaster weaving through the turrets is genius. Can't wait to see how the rest of your kingdom unfolds. Keep up the awesome work and may your virtual park prosper. Hashtag RCT Magic. That sounds like... That sounds so disingenuous. Those pink log flume boats are a vibe. Bringing a touch of whimsy to your castle park. Loving the creativity. Hashtag pink flume magic. Oh, it's an AI thing. Oh. It's someone who made the AI joke earlier. Thank you for the 25 months, Crane. I also love taller roasters. I was about to ban Max as that looked like a bot. Well, the thing is, even if that was a bot, it would still be someone... Like, someone paid attention to the fact that we're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. So it would be a bit different than your usual spam bot. Okay, after the iced tea stall, we will get the cash machine. If I'm not mistaken, that is. If I am mistaken, I will wallow in sadness. They do have bots that take note of your category, even if only on a broader genre level. Well, yeah, but I mean, I could have done the title like Crazy Castle, because that's in the title, but I would still be highly specific. And pink log flume would be way too specific. Damn it, Marcel, you keep forgetting who I am. Wait, what? What do you mean? Absolutely love Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. This game holds a special place in my heart, bringing back so many nostalgic memories. The creativity is designing crazy coasters and managing the park's finances is unmatched. Who else is still playing this in 2024? Hashtag RCT2 forever. Oh god, that who else is still playing. You said someone else said. Oh, well this time I thought it was you, but I wasn't sure and I couldn't be bothered to scroll up. My apologies if I do that too much with you. Do you all get lots of bots that sell viewer bots? Not really, like we got one just now. We only get one like maybe every 10 streams, maybe not even that. So no, we don't get a lot of those. Drink some water, good idea. You know what I do regularly get? I do regularly get, usually when my videos have been just released, comments saying just a very generic thing, right? They just say, thank you for all the continued effort you put into your videos. They highlight my day. Something like that, usually a few emojis. Those are always very disingenuous. And then you click on them. And then it's an account with the profile picture is some kind of woman in their underwear. And in the about section has some links to her porn. You must have seen those, like, on YouTube videos. May have missed it earlier, but on New Year's Eve my friend and I baked a Dutch apple cake and it was phenomenal. Nice. Now I wonder, did you bake like the very traditional apple pie? Or did you go for more apple kruimel? So apple crumble pie or cake or whatever. I think those are the same ladies that keep DMing me on Instagram. Or the emails I get that are like, that are probably legit, but still like some very generic email from some brand that's not at all similar to, like not at all in line with what I do. Or some shitty mobile game, which, you know, I think are generic, are like legit, I mean. Like, I don't think they're scams, but they're just not sponsors I would ever do. Because it's just not something that, you know, it feels very much like a sellout. Nutmeg and brown sugar on the bottom cake pan, and then the apples in the cake mixture, bake 30 minutes, flip it over, and... Wait, flip it over? Oh, you're not Carrie. Never mind. I looked at the purple username and was like, wait, or did you say that? Oh, never mind. I thought it was Carrie who said it earlier. If people have similar colored usernames, I get confused often. That's probably not just a me thing, but it is a thing I have. But the flipping it over is not... I have never done that, flipping it over for an apple pie. Wait, name the ride of your choice. I completely missed that. What was it? Name the mouse coaster. Zonnegrote vuurballen jongen. Sure. Is that a New Kids thing? I've never watched New Kids. Is this confusing? Well, in your case, it's even worse, Slime, because you've had the same orange color for many decades. Name the next flat ride Boris. That's name the park, not name a ride that you redeemed. This is kind of in a weird position. Then name the park Boris. I like your commitment to Boris. Hey kids, wanna go to Boris? The big bad beast? Who else has a VIP badge here? Yeah, why does Slime have a VIP badge? I think it's because he basically doesn't want to be mod, and I'm like, well, I want to acknowledge you, so here, be VIP. Whether you like it or not. I mean, you made him VIP. Yeah, obviously, I'm the only person who can do that. Was that supposed to be a Woody Woodpecker laugh or just a laugh? So, it's kind of the, in my head, that's kind of just a weird, intentionally creepy-fied kids mascot laugh, right? I did that when my joke in my random facts video, where I was like, I will probably never answer for all the hundreds of thousands of guests that I have murdered. Hehehehe. Or millions, maybe? I'm not sure. And a lot of comments said that's from Woody Woodpecker. And I'm like, who is Woody Woodpecker? I didn't know who that was. I had heard the name, but I had no idea who it actually was. And then I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that's fairly similar. And I may have heard it before, but there's also a very good chance that I did get to it independently. We should get the cash machine any second now. Wait, we already have it. We got it a few days ago. Okay, time to get rides. Thank you for the 22 months, Xaak. Does the 1609 in your name come, Xaak, from the numbers of meters in a mile? Oh, can I rehire staff? Yeah, that's been 12 minutes. I need staff badly. Right. Cash machine time. I want people to be able to get money everywhere. We had that discussion already. Wait, did we? Am I that predictable that I've asked that before? I don't remember. People who are VIP are excluded from Twitch auto mod, pretty much. However, they can still be moderated by regular moderators. Ah. Careful, a realist has entered the chat. Wait, are you a realist? Fire Eyes? Oh, realism scenario. Oh, the sandbox. Oh, that, yeah, I remember. You know, as a content creator, you get that, right? You see so many different people. And some people you see so much, like Slime and Carrie, that you really know what they're about. And Max even more. But some people, like Fire Eyes and a lot of other names, you only see sort of like maybe twice a month or something like that, briefly. And then you're like, okay, I remember the name, but I forgot really what you were all about. Sorry. Because it's just too much to remember. What am I about? Well, you're about fostering cats. That's very much your thing. Yeah, I can... You know, Twitch gives you a notification when it's your first chat, Max. And I didn't get that. And also the mod icon and the sub icon. What about me? What are you about? You are about inappropriate jokes. I think that's you summarized in 2 words. Is there actually an expectation viewers have that streamers will remember them? Probably not. Like, maybe 1 in 100 will. But most people are, like, are reasonable. I mean, if I still didn't really know who Max was, then that would be a bit concerning, right? Not just because it seems like I wouldn't care about my audience, but also just concerning in general, because I should know. It would be like, are you alright? Something wrong with your memory? I have a funny anecdote, by the way. Yesterday, I really learned how today's youth view YouTubers. I was in Utrecht with my brother, and on the way back, I was in quite a busy train, and that car is not making it. I was in quite a busy train, and I was sitting across to 17-year-old guys. We didn't really talk that much, but eventually we started talking. And I heard that they needed, like, one of them lived in Hogeveen. So I mentioned that I needed to transfer, and I needed to transfer too in Zwolle. And then they asked, okay, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Groningen. Oh, do you study there? And first of all, they said u instead of jij or je. Which is like the... Because we have 2 different versions of you. Jij and je is the... Like the casual one, and u is the formal one. And I'm like, u? Like, I'm not that old. It's like calling me sir. Like, anyway. I said, no, I'm not studying anymore. And they were like, alright, what do you do for a living then? I'm a YouTuber. And then they asked, okay, what's your username? Wait, time keeps ticking? What are you on about? Anyway, thank you for the 20 bits, Waluigi. Hope you have a good year too. Glad it started well for you. So they asked me my username, they looked me up. And then they saw how many subscribers I have, which is about like 132,000. And they were like, oh my god, you are famous. Then they sorted me by views. And they said, oh god, 1.9 million views. Which is my most viewed video. And then they never mentioned what I make videos about. They never asked anything about it. They just said I was famous. And then they asked for a picture with me. Which I was fine with. You know, I took a picture with them when we transferred on Zwolle. But that's kind of insane to me. They didn't care at all about what I do. And the fact that they don't care about my videos makes sense. They've never played the game. They're 17, so obviously. But the fact that they only cared about the fact that I am a big YouTuber. And big is like relative, of course, because I'm not that big. But, I mean, I make a living from it, so big enough, I guess. The fact that they only cared about that and still wanted the picture is kind of insane to me. I mean, they were lovely guys. Like, nothing wrong with them. But it's still kind of insane to me. I guess this confirms people will subscribe to people purely because they're popular. Yeah, I mean, they didn't subscribe to my YouTube channel, but they did subscribe to me, like, to me, I guess. And to me being, I'm not sure if they thought I was necessarily a good person because I'm popular, but they did sort of, not really worship, but like, sort of a kind of worship light for me. Just because I have the numbers. It feels really vapid to adore a person for being famous, only for being famous. Yeah. But that's just the culture, right? Because being a YouTuber is the new rock star. Oh crap, we're not advertising anymore. That will be one of the reasons we only have 1100 guests. Wooden coaster. Titty rumbler. Ooh, this is all screwed up. All withered away. Alright, Drowncast 2024. Are we at that yet? I think we probably are. Well, only barely. But yeah, we are. We might not have been when you first asked for the drownage. I was recently talking with a friend about RCT and he mentioned you, and I was like, I know that guy as well. Not really just you know me. Like, it's like there's, cause you're, I mean, I wouldn't call you just a fan. Because we talk outside of the Twitch and the YouTube comments too, so not that much, but sometimes on Max's Discord. We know each other much more than your standard fan, like, you know? What's the word for that, though? You drowned the wrong guest. Wait, did I? Why is there notification? Did I turn off the notifications? Yes. Let's see. Yes, I think I drowned 2025. Well, that's 45 squared. Why did we not hear an explosion? Where's my explosion? You know... Oh, there it is. I could save these guests, but I could also keep them dying. One more. One more. Boom. Rip our park rating. Wait, doesn't... Okay, so I guess that's a bit too high. I'll just put the chain lift here. Just in case. I love how these fuelless things still explode. How do you know they're fuelless? How do you know there isn't a lot of whatever kind of fuel in there? Thanks to you, Marcel, I've kind of picked up skating a bit. Just for fun, and I must say, Jenning de Bow is fast as hell. It really freaking surprised me to say the least. Wait. So you time, like you did you like time yourself or something, and so to get the comparison, or did you just start watching speed skating or something? Because yeah, Jenning de Bow at his top speed skates like 61 kilometers an hour. Did you rehire the handyman? Yes, I did. We have handyman and mechanics. Could use some more though. Oh, you just watched it. So the Dutch Championships or the European Championships. Yeah, he's very fast. He is, I think, the second fastest 19-year-old we've ever had. The title of the fastest would go to Jordan Stoltz. I mean, technically not though. Technically not. Because Jordan Stoltz was not 19. He was 18. He is now 19 and has not been as fast yet this season. So technically Jenning de Bow is a faster 19-year-old than Jordan Stoltz, but Jordan Stoltz was faster when he was 18. Wait, look at the mouse coaster. It's fine. What do you mean still screwing up? They're both working fine. I don't see a problem here. In fact, I'm even... Oh, the guests are going on it because it's raining. They don't care that it crashed recently because it's raining. Slow cars in the last corner. Wait, that must be here then? Where can there ever be slow cars in the last corner? Oh, because the one with guests caught up to one without guests. That must have been it. Wait, the wooden... Oh, the wooden one. Yeah. I mean, it's going very fast here, so it must have been a case of a cart catching up. You know what? This just solves it. Wait for full load. Hang on. How did this get water? Oh, rain, duh. I was like, how did the handyman get there? But no, rain waters plants. So many people were surprised when I pointed it out in the video that that is not an OpenRST2 thing. That's actually from vanilla. Yeah, it's an RST1 thing even. I don't know why people use vanilla to mean bland, because vanilla is a great flavor. It's kind of defaulted to the default ice cream flavor. Maybe that's where it's from? I don't know. I'm not an etymology expert. It's still funny to me that these fire things keep working in the rain. Oh, that's not that difficult. Like, if you make fire, a little bit of rain isn't going to put it out. Would you rather play the original salted version of RST2? What? I have no idea what that means. The trick with a mine right is to keep it going up not too steeply. Oh, I need to drink some water. Because then it'll go up really, really slow. As an alternative name to vanilla. Ah, right. Do you know what Jennings' fastest time is so far? What he has done so far in 2024? Well, he's only skated 2 races in 2024. Both at the European Championships, which is 34:48 on the 500 meters and 1:08:14 on the 1000 meters. Adjective meaning conventional or ordinary sexual preferences is by 1970s, probably from the notion of whiteness and the common choice of vanilla ice cream. Vanilla as figurative of a plain and conventional choice without reference to sex seems to date back to the late 19th century, as a noun by 1940s as an adjective. Ah. That is quite an old term then. Is that fast for the 1000? It was fast enough to get a medal, but it's not that fast in Heerenveen. And it was also only on the European stage. All the Americans and the Canadians and the Japanners weren't there. Etymologically, what a word, it is related to the word vagina. Wait, how? What's the root word they both come from? And how are they related? Pod of the vanilla plant. Okay, that makes sense. Because plants can look like womanhoods. From Spanish, vanilla plant, literally little pod. Diminutive of vina, sheath from Latin vagina, sheath of an ear of grain, hull of a plant. It's not easy to read those dictionary definitions. Now that you do commentary for the ISU, do you have some inside information? No. Not at all. I just show up, do commentary and leave. I don't even have contact with the ISU directly. Because they just hired a company to do it, which makes sense. Does it pay well? 255 euros for about 5 or 6 hours of work. Depends a bit how long the preparation takes. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That's pre-tax though. Am I enjoying it? I am enjoying the commentating. But I also do miss being able to watch it myself. Listening to the Dutch commentary. Wait, I don't even need to go up at all here. There we go. Perfecto. And it's just finished testing. 5.97, 5.21, 4.47. That's quite a high nausea rating. I mean, I don't really usually pay attention to the nausea rating of this ride, so I don't know how high it actually is. I'm surprised the guests still want to pay $1 for the Ferris wheel. I mean, it'll turn 1 month and 13 months old, 1 year and 5 months old in a few days, or like any time now. Or maybe that's when they don't want to pay it anymore. I'm not sure. I did add some scenery, which might help. I don't know how much that helps. Helps a little at least. God did not create the Dutch. Well, God maybe created the Dutch, but not the Netherlands, because the Dutch created the Netherlands. But yeah, there's a very big difference in just watching speed skating on television and watching it and having to commentate yourself. Because if you have to commentate, you have to really pay close attention. I actually got to commentate a world record. Because the Norwegians randomly skated a world record on the team pursuit. Which no one expected. I think these might be too expensive. Let's make them cheaper. And obviously I didn't expect it either. But at first I started comparing with the track record. Then I was like, well, they're quite fast. Let's compare with the low altitude world record. And then about 2 laps before they were done, before the finish, I was like, this is going really fast. Let me compare to the world record really quick. And then they skated with a few tenths of a second the world record. Do you not have the automatic price calculator adjuster plugin on? Yes, I do. Well, I don't have it on, but I have it. But I don't have it on because it's a bit cheaty. And sure, when you have a massive park, it helps a lot. But it's a bit cheaty, isn't it? At least the Dutch haven't created any problems in the world, I think. You think wrong, my friend. We had a massive empire. Not quite as massive as the British. But still quite massive. Thank you for the 11 months, Techie Truby. Alright, what do you want to name what ride, Xack? Name the observation. Long stick of shit. Why? Why? It's not even brown. I'm actually genuinely stuck at Ghost Town. That shit's hard, such as long coasters and not enough space. It's not brown, it's black and orange. I guess brown is just dark orange, but yeah, it's literally called dark orange. Oh, if you're stuck at Ghost Town, if you have plenty of money and not enough space, build up. There are plenty of coasters available that have a really high support limit. Or if you have built some rides to make money that don't count towards the 10 coasters, remove those rides. 2023, their turn to drown. I guess that is more appropriate because 2023 is done. Goodbye, nauseous year. This is definitely the best Crazy Castle I've ever done. The least ugly. My Crazy Castles always end up kind of ugly. And I'm not exactly sure why. I think we need a touch of color here. The one where you went full German brown coal mine mode and dug out the entire map. That was rather ugly indeed. But that conclusion of that video was beautiful though. I've driven past a brown coal mine in Germany and they're so bloody massive. You just drive around it for kilometers and kilometers and it just doesn't end. Do a crazy castle where you turn everything into water. Mate, that's literally the video we talked about. Hang on. I did that. I already did that. Okay, let's see if I can do this again. Let's see if I can time this well. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was too early. Too late, I mean. Ah, a bit too late. I still had like 5,000 guests left instead of the 1,590 or so which I had in the original video. Look at the beautiful pattern of balloons. Ooh, I missed a bit. Huh, never noticed that. And I even did this again for... I don't know what video, but like a few months ago. I used this and I did it again. But yeah, I don't remember what for. Do we have any interesting new coaster types? No, I've used them all. Well, except for 2, but those 2 are kind of meh. I've used all the interesting ones. Ooh, now we're getting a Virginia reel. Virginia Real, I mean, it's nice, but it's not the coaster type I have in mind now. The video where you try to not drown guests. Oh, probably, yeah. Probably that one. We have all of these. We don't have a Dodgems yet. Let's build one. Better make the apology video. I still have the idea. I still love that idea. To just make an apology video. Like be super serious. About something entirely inconsequential. Like in my last video, for example, a few days ago. I forgot 2 of the 4 no money scenarios from RST1. It's a bit stupid. I don't know. I checked through all the scenarios. I just looked over them. I don't know. But just like make an entirely serious and do the sigh like I gotta tell you something, like shed a tear, and then we, you know, I've made a grave mistake. I will make sure it never happens again, and you know I will compensate all the people that I've wronged, you know, whatever. And then have it just be like such a silly mistake. Yeah, it would be even more effective if the apology video actually showed your face. Yeah, just, you know, be like sitting on a couch, get out the ukulele, that kind of stuff. Tom Scott did an amazing apology type video on this Park Bench channel. Oh yeah, for that face in that video. What are you dodging in the dodging taxes? Yeah, you know, it's rather hard to dodge because it's Texas is the 2nd biggest US state. Ukulele. Oh yeah, I forgot. Slime doesn't do YouTube. Colleen Ballinger, known about 10 years ago as Miranda Sings, was a character she played, a very popular character. She was accused of, you know, inappropriate stuff with teens and that kind of, you know, the standard, really. And then she made an apology video, which was just entirely shitty, but she made it even worse by singing it with a ukulele. I'll be honest, the chorus kind of slaps. All aboard the toxic gossip train. Singing an apology video via ukulele. Why? Well, that's the question. She literally said in the video that her team, her presumably, which also presumably includes someone, you know, in the legal department, advised her to not do it. And she was like, how about I do anyway? I don't know how anyone thought that was a good idea. No one did, except her. She thought it was a good idea, and she was wrong. What did you guys think of Tom Scott leaving? I mean, he's still a YouTuber, but his main channel has ceased activity for at least half a year. Presumably. Probably longer. Is there some other stuff going on, like his podcast, Lateral, but... yeah, it was majestic. It was also sad. Tom Scott videos were kind of a big part of my Mondays. He said he was going to do it, so we all had time to get used to the idea. Of course. But still, like if you if a friend gets a year to live and then after that year they die, that still hits hard. Obviously Tom isn't dead, but I hope you get the analogy I'm trying to make here. I find it still stupid that he doesn't upload Lateral to YouTube. Well, he did upload the very first full episode of Lateral. But it turned out that then the clips barely got any views or something like that. He did say something about it. So he stopped uploading the full episodes. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure I would be watching the full episodes, but I do watch every single clip. Park with the worst food in the country. Yeah, baby, that's me. I have one food stall. That's this fry stall. There are a lot of guests around here. It's getting a lot of guests per hour. 1428. I also really want new tech diff. Matt has said that tech diff probably won't happen in 2024. And that there is a, Tom said that there is a very good chance that there will be tech diff in the future. But combining those two statements, it will likely be either the very end of 2024 or start of 2025. Which is a long way away. But, they're all people. They all have their lives. Although Gary Brennan has kind of started uploading some videos. He hasn't uploaded a lot, but a while ago he uploaded a vlog where he went to Dubai for work and vlogged some of it. Because he also had some free time there. And that was really good. Like, Gary is really good in front of the camera. Oh, we can sell hats now. We can make them even more lime green. Did you see Matt's new series where he tries things? Yes, I like it. It's not like I don't love it. It's not like a thing that I will drop things for just to like. I won't necessarily stop doing whatever I'm doing to watch it. But I do watch the videos and I do enjoy them, right? There have legitimately been people that have said, I find Tom Scott so annoying. I'm like, how do you find Tom Scott annoying? Like, I get that you don't necessarily enjoy his videos. Obviously, it's impossible for one type of video to be enjoyed by everyone. But how do you find him annoying? Because I don't watch Markiplier's videos, but I don't find Markiplier annoying. He's just someone I don't watch the videos of. But Tom Scott is, I mean, people apparently said that it's his demeanor of presentation that they find annoying, apparently. How was your Christmas and New Year's? Quite good. Had a nice Christmas dinner. And had a lovely little New Year's. Thank you for the 8 months, Kenzer2. I've only seen a few Tom Scott videos and he does seem to present stuff in a very dramatic way. I don't think he does. But maybe it's just because I'm used to his way of presenting. I think it's more, maybe it is because he, I think I see what you mean, but I think it's more just that he has a lot of appreciation for the very normal stuff that yet still has a lot of thought into it. Like, for example, take a hairbrush, which I'm thinking of because there's one lying in front of me. You might just think it's a hairbrush, but if you go to the history of a hairbrush, there's probably a lot there, and a lot, how did we get to the current designs that we use? And you can probably, like, that's probably very, like, there's some... It's all very, like, important stuff, I guess, but you wouldn't think about it being important, because it's just a hairbrush, you know? But there might be some very vital design choices made at some point or whatever, I don't know. Also a bit of I'm smarter than you vibe, yeah, that's what some people said. I don't get that at all. You know who I did get that, who I do get that with? Who I do find annoying, and maybe I'm in the wrong for this. Simon... something. The guy who hosts all the videos about big buildings, big machines. He has like a bunch of different channels. Like bald with a beard. And glasses. Simon Whistler, yeah. That guy. I'm like, I'm sure he's a fine guy or whatever, but his presentation style just rubs me the wrong way. Just doesn't work for me. Like, if I click on any video that seems interesting about some kind of big building or whatever, or big project, and it's his face, I just click off. So I guess applying that to Tom Scott, I guess I could see why people don't like Tom Scott. I don't really like Simon Whistler. A lot of what he says isn't really correct. He isn't the greatest researcher. I'm positive he has a team. That means his team isn't the greatest in doing research. I wouldn't know, because I've never fact-checked any of his videos. What I don't like about Simon is that he just reads scripts. He lets people write for him. On one hand, that's fair. On the other hand, that's what most TV presenters do as well. That's an interesting thing about YouTube, right? Because YouTube has been very much YouTube. Like, you do everything. But people kind of find it disingenuous if you have writers sometimes. Yet, that's been the standard in TV for decades. Like, no one gives shit to an actor for not writing the movie. Yet, if a YouTube video has someone who just does the... just is the presenter and does nothing else, it's like they don't write their own videos. Which... I'm not saying it's wrong to think that. I'm saying it's interesting that people react that way. Tommy Wiseau wrote his own movie. I mean, yeah, it happens. I mean, Peter Jackson also did a cameo in every Lord of the Rings movie, so he's technically an actor in them too. Imagine if TV presenters talked like YouTubers. What up, yo, it's the TV station back it up with another video. In this one we gotta be presenting the news and weather, but first a word from our sponsor. Remember to subscribe. That would be very weird, but on the other hand, like, TV is funded by ads, but also by sponsors. Like, TV often does get sponsorships, but they're not required to declare it. Well, not always at least. Tom Scott, funnily enough, has a video about that. It's like YouTubers have to declare ads, why doesn't anyone else? Also, thank you for the 2 months, Nisse. But yeah, YouTube has been what TV is YouTube is what TV could never be, which is one guy doing all the work. I work alone. Like, yeah, I get, like, people help me with experiments on my Discord server mainly. But other than that, like, I do everything myself. All the parks, like 98% of the parks features in my video are either come with the game or are built by me. I write 100% of the words, I do all the voiceover, I do all the editing. Like, that's not the thing you can see on TV, yet I make a living. But as a YouTuber, you are doing so many jobs in one if you think about it. Because I'm a presenter, or a voice actor, I guess. I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm a producer. What else am I? I'm a researcher, which I guess is sort of like writers are often researchers. Cameraman, not really. I don't do camera stuff. Wouldn't YouTube be the producer? No, because TV channels aren't the producers of the things they broadcast. Sound engineer? Yeah, I guess I am the sound engineer as well. There's so much that I have to all do myself on the YouTube video, which is fine, like I'm not complaining. But people often do not think about that. There are so many different skills that you need to learn. And then I'm also my own marketer. Like, I have to come up with my ideas. I have to market them. I have to, like, come up with titles and thumbnails. And then it's like, yeah, no wonder people burn out. Because if you work on a TV show and you're a presenter and the TV show bombs, I mean, you might not get a second season, but you're still paid. But if I write my own YouTube videos and they bomb, I'm paid significantly less because, well, it's got significantly less views. I used to do thumbnails for a buddy of mine that eventually built his channel to where he wanted to release a video 5 times a week. I got burned out so fast. He was paying me for it. Between doing that and having my full-time job, it was just too much. I can imagine. Because also, like, if you're paid for it, it's a different thing. 'Cause I'm also paid for it, but like, if I make a shitty thumbnail, like, I only have myself with it. But if someone else pays you, and you make a shitty thumbnail, and it's part of the reason why the video gets fewer views, then that's a whole different thing. Because you were paid for your work by someone else. Okay, is there any ride that gets no guests? Dodgems. Okay, but that one makes sense. 24 guests an hour. Queue time Only 28 minutes? Never. Never 28 minutes. There are 102 people in the queue line. And it's 3 minutes per guest. That's like 300 minutes. Maybe it's overflowed from 20 for 255? I don't know what the limit is. Guests leave often enough. Yeah, I guess they do. You can see it happening. A lot. You know, it's interesting. They can't walk through each other when they're queuing, but when they're leaving the queue, they suddenly gain the ability to phase through other humans. Why would you leave if you're that far in the front? Because you're an RCT guest and you're stupid. I think you need some queue line TV. It's a good idea. I want to force them to wait. I will guarantee you though, like, I'm not sure how the wait time is exactly calculated, but I will guarantee you that the guests leaving has no impact on it. Because there's no way the game is actually tracking how long it takes for the average guest from the point where they go into the queue line to the point where they actually ride it. It's just some calculation based on the number of guests per hour and the length of the queue line. Something like that, right? But I could be wrong. Like, there's always a chance that I'm wrong, but that's what I'm guessing. The guy who programmed it was British. Proper queuing is in his blood. Well, he was Scottish, also British, but Scottish, I think, prefer to be called Scottish instead of British. You would never be able to program guests skipping the queue. Fair enough. Name the park Castle Chaos. It's not really that much chaos, to be fair. This is kind of like a lot of order than queuing. Thank you for the sub, Lou says. I think this will be a good time to tell you that we have been watched. The entire stream we were watched by someone analyzing our every move. And she might still be watching us. Again, you have no idea who it is. Now, it's some French woman. I did an interview 2 days ago with a woman from some French magazine. And I forgot the name. But it's like a very thick magazine, and this edition is all about trains. It's all about niche communities, kind of. And this edition is about trains. And as an extension of that, there's a 16-page section about roller coasters. And one of the articles she's going to write for that is about Roller Coaster Tycoon. So she wanted an interview with me, which is fair. And I like doing interviews, so she got her interview. And it was a very pleasant interview. She is a journalist after all. So she's good at it. She's practiced at it. And she said she would also be watching today's stream to kind of see it in action. Because she said she's usually used to kind of doing field work. Like actually going somewhere and seeing it in action. And watching a stream is the closest you can get to that for a video game. Could you remove that one, Max? I find that a bit inappropriate here. The reason I didn't tell you guys, obviously, is to not make you aware, to not have it influence your behavior. I did warn her that the streams usually contain quite a few inappropriate jokes. So she did know. Was she prepared for the drowning? Well, I didn't specifically mention drowning, but it was clear she had done her research. I mean, she even knew exactly the time I was going live. So, and she, you know, she mentioned a bunch of videos on my channel. So there's a good chance she would have to see some kind of drowning video. I mean, the one I did very recently about trying not to drown guests. And, you know, she asked if she could watch the stream. Obviously she could. It's a public stream. But she figured it was still nice to ask, which, yeah, fair enough. The Drown a Guest channel point reward for drowning guests gives a text option, but the rename park ride doesn't. Oh, I should add that. Should fix that. Wait, what? Why is that on every 30 minutes? Oh, it changes when it's opened. Oh, my default inspection interval is on 10 minutes. I was like, did I change that? What if it turns out I was the French journalist all along? Well, if you were able to fake... to fake the looks of a woman, to fake a French accent when you're speaking English... then I would be very impressed. Because we video called, so yeah, good luck faking that. You don't know what I look like? Yes, I do. I do know what you look like. I've seen pictures of your face, mate. Those pictures could have been faked. I mean, yeah, literally anything could be faked. Unless you meet in person, literally anything could be faked. Maybe she was a lizard person, who knows. She could still be listening, I don't know. I don't think she is. I think she tuned in at 8 PM. Probably left like, I don't know, like half an hour or an hour ago, and that was probably enough. But she might still be here. If she's still watching, she's probably laughing. Oh, definitely. Absolutely laughing her ass off. With your reactions as well when I told you. So I presume she's going to notify me when the magazine issue is published. But then again, I can't read it. It's in French. Can I just say that I built some spiral coasters and the stats I get from them are insane. Yeah, the spiral coaster is... wouldn't say it's overpowered, but the ratio of stats is overpowered. Like, unless you get extreme lateral Gs, it's very hard to get an extreme intensity on a spiral coaster. Let's have a look at our spiral coaster, shall we? And its stats. Let's see. Yeah, 10 minutes now. 6.4, 4.4, 2.4. Those are classic spiral coaster stats. It's insane. Like, the stats are not very high. It doesn't get a lot of throughput because its trains are long and bulky. So it's not that great. Like, it's good, but not amazing. But the stat ratio, it has one of the lowest nausea ratings of any roller coaster in the game. Like this ride with 2.4 nausea, are you having a laugh? Welcome, Aniolel. First stream. Well, not your first stream. I think you mean first stream of 2024, presumably. And thank you for the 14 months. Is the merry-go-roundabout about still being Yes. Still being visited. By the way, fun fact. I'm wearing a hoodie right now, and on one of the arms, it's getting, like, the very end of one of the sleeves, it's getting quite worn out. Yet the other arm is fine. Do you guys have any clue why that could be? Because I know. Thank you for your 402nd gifted subs line. No, it is not masturbating. Actually, Nikrio is entirely right. That's my mouse hand. It's my right arm. And only the bit that is resting on my desk, and so moving around on my desk when I move my mouse around, is being worn out. The top of it is perfectly fine. Did you forget my sub? Oh, yeah. I did miss that. Probably would have seen it at some point later. I was like almost 10 minutes late for someone else earlier as well. But thank you for the 25 months, Cringe. And yeah, that is just my more dominant hand, my right hand. But there aren't a lot of other things that you do with your more dominant hand that would cause, like, a lot of rubbing between your arm and your hand and some other surface, with your sweater is in between. Ooh, yeah, we're very rich. We can pay back the loan. You have to go to bed in a few minutes. Have to get up at 5:20 tomorrow. Poor you. It is masturbating. I mean, unless you have your hand inside your sleeve, then there's nothing that, like, your sleeve rubs between. At least not the conventional way. I think it also takes like a very long time, because this hoodie is like, I don't know, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years old or something. I don't really know. But I use my computer a lot. Too much, I guess. But, you know, I make videos. And I don't have a lot of clothes. I usually tend to not have a lot of clothes and then just wear them a lot. So, in the winter months, I wear this hoodie a lot. And if I edit for 8 hours a day, and then do some other stuff while using the same hoodie, still using the mouse, then yeah, that adds up quickly, right? But the interesting thing is, I never noticed this before. This is the first time I ever noticed that on one of my hoodies or sweaters or whatever. By the way, I don't use a mouse mat, and as a result, my table has tons of little scorch marks where my mouse is. It's fine, because I need a new one anyway. This one's kind of shitty. Because the mouse uses a laser, right? At least, I assume they're scorch marks, because there are tons of little black marks. Like, what else would they be? Maybe it's caused by friction. I mean, it's literally tons of black dots close to each other. That's not, like, that's not rubber rubbing off. You can't clean it. Can you take a photo from that? Not right now. I don't have my phone with me, but I can. Like, I don't know what else it would be. Isn't that just a grain of wood? I mean, the fact that it's literally only where my mouse is, with a very high density in the center and then a lower density as you go out, means it's definitely got to do something with the mouse. If your mouse is strong enough to leave burn marks on your table, that'd be extremely dangerous. Well, I actually just looked at the bottom of my mouse and there is no laser. At least I can't see a laser. So, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe there haven't been any new ones. Maybe this one doesn't it. Because this mouse I only have about a year now. So maybe that all came from previous mice. I'm not sure. Well, if it isn't burn or scorch marks, then I'm very curious what it is. Because it very much looks like them. But I'll send a picture in the Discord after the stream. The Virginia Reel could exist today. Any of these coasters that are in the game could exist today. But a lot of these small wooden ones are very antiquated. Park with the best roller coasters. Hell yeah. You know it. Because wouldn't you expect for rubber, like if it was rubber, to have it sometimes be a little bit of streaks instead of literally pretty much circular marks? $50k in the bank now. Look at this weekly profit. It's going up quite sharp. Well, I mean, the general trend goes up quite sharply. The actual profit goes up and down a lot. This is a better representation. Look at how sharply this goes up. We make over 20k a month. You forgot to name the right award. So I did. Because we were doing the whole mouse thing. Any right, Sline's dirty mind. What's the most innuendo ride here? We could say that Sline is crooked like a crooked house. Yeah, but the big Woody is already named Titty Rumbler. Ooh, we have a compact inverter coaster. The reporter definitely saw us name that one Titty Rumbler. Yep, she did. But that's fine. I warned her. She knew what she was getting into. The French are gonna cancel Marcel. French people are 0.7% of my audience. I don't think they have big enough numbers to cancel me. So we don't have to fear the French here. And no, I'm not making up that number. I looked it up during our interview. Inverted passion in steel's embrace. Compact coaster, loves thrilling chase. Twists and turns, a dance so sweet. Hearts entwined, in each loop they meet. Oh, you actually can't interlock loops on the inverted coaster? Pink hues paint the track with affection, a rollercoaster love connection. Through drops and rises, a bond so tight, in compact joy, our love takes flight. Did you chat GPT that? Yes, you did. Now, ChatGPT is stupid. You know, back in my day, we didn't use ChatGPT to write our essays. We just copied them from someone else on the internet. I copied a lot of book reports from the internet. Even the parts, like some stuff of course, on the book reports, like what are the themes of the book and write a short summary of the book, that kind of stuff. Oh, you know, that one you can somewhat copy and not really be caught because, well, you're all writing about the same book, right? But even the stuff, like, there was one section you always had to write for Dutch, for your book reports, was review, which would have your own opinion. I even copied that. Not always, but for some. And not because I didn't read the books. You had to read 12 books for a year in the last 3 years of VWO schooling. And I read 11 of those 12 books. The only one I didn't read was Max Havelaar, which is one we covered extensively in class. The other 11 were all my choice, and I read all of them. Yet I still was so lazy, I copied the book reports. I even had a good time reading them. I never read a single book during VWO. No, seriously, I found reading books a colossal waste of time. That's fair, I didn't, and as I said, I still read them, but I just didn't like doing book reports. I didn't copy, like, there were some I did do myself, but also quite a few that I didn't. I've told this story before, but I also once just handed in my brother's book report, and I was caught, sort of, I guess. So the story there is, that was a year prior, that was in the 3rd year, so that was before those 12 books, but we still had to do book reports. And I was going to read Siegfried, which the Dutch people might know is, like, it's by Harry Mulisch, I think. And it's something about World War II, and it's known for being very difficult, very hard, annoying read. And I didn't read it. My brother had done a book report on it when he was in the 3rd year, the year prior. And he was like, you know what, you can have my book report. I didn't change anything, I just handed it in. And then we were getting our grades back. And then our teacher, she read out a whole bunch of names. She said, okay, all these people have an 8. The rest have a 7. Except Marcel. I want to talk to you after class. No, she didn't say after class. She said, I want to talk to you about it. She didn't mention immediately after class. She did not mention that. So I just left, as you normally do. She never talked to me about it. I just eventually got a 7. How old are you in the 3rd year? So you usually turn 16. No, hang on. 13. You usually turn 15 in your 3rd year, but I turned 14. I was a bit on the young side. So basically I was 13 for one half, 14 for the other half. I actually learned about plagiarism because my teacher made me write a report about plagiarism after I got caught doing plagiarism. You know, that's how you teach people, right? She could have just given you a 1 or written you up or whatever they do in high school, but she didn't. She was like, you know what? That's just what kids do, I guess. Let's make it a teachable moment. And we'll have the kids learn about plagiarism. So you didn't get a 0 for it? No, I didn't. Even more ridiculous is that I once asked... I once got... there are 2 stories actually from what we called informatica, which would be computer science. And... because I had that for the last 3 years. And I really liked doing it, you know, HTML, you know, that kind of stuff. You learn about AND gates, OR gates, HTML, the very basics of that kind of stuff. Binary counting, how to convert binary to decimal. I had very good grades in 4th and 5th year. And then in the 6th year, our usual teacher, who liked me a lot and who I liked a lot, had a burnout. And instead we got some other guy who was boring. He didn't teach at all. He just, well, like, you know, here you can find whatever you need to do, go ahead. And we had to do database stuff, which I found boring, which is ironic considering I am now doing a massive database project. But, and it's literally exactly the same thing, like how to organize a database. But I found it annoying, I didn't do it. And the entire period, or semester, or whatever you call it, it's like a quarter of a year. The entire first quarter of a year, I did nothing at computer science class. I just played little flash games, or I went on news sites because I was bored. I just didn't do anything. I never handed in anything. The teacher never noticed. He wasn't a good teacher. But then, for the second quarter of the year, we got our old teacher back. We'll call Mr. M. And at some point, I just got a 6.5 for the first quarter of the year. It just appeared on the online grade system that we had, called Magister. Dutch people will know it. I never handed anything in. I don't know what Mr. M was thinking. He was probably like, well, Marcel always does good work. 6.5? I never did anything. That was one of the lowest grades I'd ever gotten for computer science as well. Maybe even the lowest, I'm not sure. And then in the very same year, at the very end, because on your final, on your diploma, right, you get a whole number. Everything gets rounded to a whole number grade. Where is 6.5 on your grading scale? 6.5 out of 10. A 5.5 is the lowest passing grade. So you get a whole number for on your final diploma. And I had like a 7.48 for computer science, and I really wanted it to be an 8. So I went to the teacher, Mr. M, and I said, you know, is there some kind of extra project that I can do to bump my grade up to an 8? And he was like, nah, I'll just make sure you'll get an 8. And he changed one of my grades that I'd already gotten to be a few tenths higher, so that my average was above a 7.5, so that I got an 8. Dude! I mean, to be fair, there were a few earlier projects where I really went above and beyond. Like, I did so much more than ever was expected. So, it was clear to him. I had shown that I really had an interest in it, that I was good at it. So it's not like out of nothing. But it's still very inappropriate to do that as a teacher. Thank you so much for introducing me to Natty. She and I are getting along better than we expected. But don't tell her that. Oh, good to hear, Kiana. I'm very happy you enjoy your streams. Natty is such a lovely person, isn't she? I'll be honest though, I don't think Mr. M was the best teacher. Like, for me, who had a really active interest in the subject and was good at it, he was fine. But I don't think he was really a good teacher in general, because he wasn't really good at keeping order. He was very much a teacher that kind of tries to be your friend. And I don't think he was necessarily that good at helping people who weren't good at the subject. So yeah, for me he was fine. But in general I don't think he was that great. You know what was also funny? The very first test, and that was when he didn't really know me, but so this shows that he's also just like that. At our very first test we had, like somewhere, I think that was the end of the first quarter, or maybe halfway the first quarter, we had a test that involved doing stuff like converting binary to hexadecimal, decimal to binary, you know, those three systems. And one of the questions was you had to convert binary to decimal or the other way around, I don't remember. And you had to show your workings. Well, I was a little stupid boy and I didn't show my workings. So eventually I was done with the test and I handed it in and he was like, hey, I just looked at this and you didn't show your workings. And I was like, yeah, well, I just did it all in my head. I was right, I did it all in my head. And he was like, alright, if I will give you right now a number to convert, I will watch you do it in your head, and if you have it correct, I will not deduct points for not showing your work. So I did it. I got it correct, because it was the easiest shit ever. And he indeed gave me full points. Which was... I mean, it's kind of, you know, I get where he came from, because I did show that I knew how to do it. But if it says show your work, well, he could have just given me it back and said, you know, show your work, like do it again, show your work. There was plenty of time left. You know, I could have easily done that, that was fine, but he didn't. He did it another way. I tutor kids and one of them never shows his work because he's so smart. So now we're working on it because he has to on his end exam. Well, I mean, showing your work is just a smart thing to do. I've told this story before as well, but I once, on a physics question, we had to calculate how hot the inside of an air balloon had to be for it to get liftoff. My answer was 3000 degrees Celsius. I got 4 out of 5 points. Why? Well, there were 5 points, each a point for an individual step, and in one of the steps I got a completely wrong number, like incredibly wrong, which I used in the next step to go further along. And I had done all the other steps correctly. So I had only made one small mistake. The small mistake was, by the way, getting the volume of the balloon in moles. Like how many moles of air are in the balloon. I don't know what the answer was, but I didn't know how to calculate it. I just forgotten or whatever. So I just made up a number. I made up 10,000, which obviously is, in hindsight, way too little. Because the less air you have, the hotter it would have to be. So it's way too little, but I got 4 out of 5 points. My friend, and I don't know how many points he got, but my friend had 6,000 degrees, so twice as much as me even. I don't know how he went wrong or exactly, but yeah. But that's the important thing about working out. I remember a math question somewhere in high school, and it was all complicated question, and I basically got it right, except I got the wrong answer, because at some point it was 20 plus 11, or 11 plus 20 or whatever, and I had accidentally written minus instead of plus. It's a very tiny mistake. That should only cost you 1 point, and it did. That's the importance about showing your work. I remember doing homework from maths in the first year, and getting, like, needing to redo something because I didn't show my units. It was something like we have an area here. And we want to like an area we want to put tiles in, and we need to know how big the area is. It's 20 by 30 meters. Calculate how big the area is. I just said 600. But I didn't do units. I didn't show. The units was the thing there, I think, not the work. There's not much work to be shown there. It was units. And like that's entirely fair. Got 600 watts. Like you need to know your units and show your work, just to know, you know, where you're going to the wrong, if you're going to the wrong. Don't you then realize, my answer says the balloon needs to be hotter than the boiling point of tungsten, the most heat-resistant material. Yes. Exactly that. Well, not exactly, but obviously I knew it was wrong. I'm not stupid. I wasn't stupid then either. But I also knew, I also knew, like, where I went wrong. The volume. Obviously. The amount of mole. I just made that up. I just made up a nice round number. I literally wrote that on my test. I don't know how to do this. I'll just assume 10,000 moles. I knew the problem was there. That was fine. I had no idea how to solve it, but I figured, hey, I'll get 4 out of 5 points, assuming I've done the rest correctly. And I was right. So I didn't really care. It was different, indeed, if I hadn't realized it was wrong. I would have still got the points, because the test doesn't ask for that. But if I hadn't realized I was wrong, yeah, that would be different. And that also leads back to another thing that I've talked about plenty of times on here, and I still feel very strongly about that, is... Like, sure, calculators are nice. And we should use calculators. We should use them for all kinds of stuff. But you also need to be able to do stuff without a calculator. Because if you just punch some numbers in and just copy the answer you get, right? Then you won't be able to realize when something is wrong. I've seen people on Reddit like do calculations and then like get a factor of 100 wrong or whatever somewhere. Just one tiny mistake, you know, happens to everyone all the time. And then they'll say something ridiculous like there are every day 1 million kids are born in the USA. You know, something ridiculous like that. Which, if you think about it, makes no sense at all. Because that will be 365 million kids a year. And they'll say something ridiculous like that and not think about the fact that it's obviously wrong. And in Dutch I would call it begrijpend rekenen, because we have a subject called begrijpend lezen, which literally translates to understanding reading. Like as one noun phrase. So you read a text and you have to answer questions about the text to show that you understand, well, you know, so that you can interpret the text. And yeah, critical thinking. Well, we have a subject which teaches critical thinking in reading. I also want it to be a thing in maths. And specifically calculating stuff. So the simple kind of maths. Not any algebra, just arithmetic. Comprehensive, yes, thank you, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for, thank you very much. That is so important. And I do think that a lot of kids aren't being taught that because they have a calculator. We also had a calculator, of course, but, you know, calculators have existed for many decennia. But we didn't have one on our phones yet. When I was young. So we didn't use them as much. And not being able to do comprehensive arithmetic, well, just screws you over, right? I went to dinner with a friend of mine recently. Very recently, like last week. We were in Apeldoorn, we went to dinner. And the bill was 93 euros or something. Something in the 90s. I wasn't really paying much attention, he was paying. And I was like, and he was like, wait a minute, that can't be right. And it wasn't right. They accidentally double charged him because he had like changed his order and both orders were on it. So it was like 20 or 25 bucks too much. But he only noticed because he sort of added up the stuff in his head. Like, you know, 2 dinners, like 2 drinks a piece and 1 dessert. That shouldn't be that much. And that's comprehensive or critical arithmetic. A good designed test or exam is made in such a way that you never really need a calculator. Or at least that you only need a calculator to like multiply a few numbers, right? Because if you need an answer in physics, like for the hot air balloon, calculating the temperature, the fact that you need a calculator to get the final temperature for my hot air balloon question, that's totally fine. But you get all the points for using the formulas and that kind of stuff. $20, $7.5, $7.5, and 5 for drinks. It's more expensive than that. It was above 20 our dinners. The drinks were probably like 3 or 4 a piece. I don't remember what he had, but he had, I think, some kind of beer, which is usually a bit more expensive. It was Buddha Garden, which was a Thai restaurant in Apeldoorn. I think it ended up being either high 60s or low 70s. I'm not sure. Also, thank you for the 23 months, 733737. And I need to drink some water. Sometimes you even get points for filling in the right formula on the Dutch exams. Yeah, on another physics exam, it was something like a lot of with lenses and light, and I was absolutely shit at it. But for one of the questions, I just wrote down the formula that I knew I needed to use. I just had no idea how. I never filled anything in. I just wrote down the correct formula. And I still got, I think, 1/4 of the points for that question. You eerily sound like my gufs gbuff. What's a GBF? Like gay best friend? Oh, it actually is gay best friends. I was kind of I was half joking when I said that. Ooh, now that's orange. Darn a guest without a green hat and without a green balloon. Would you also like without a green shirt? You know what, I'll make the trains here lime green too. Yes, no green. So they also shouldn't be nauseous then. I could, of course, that one still has a green shirt, but different. Ooh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Bam! Guessed 5,099. I thought the Python color scheme was intentional. Whatever we had at the start was entirely random. Well, not entirely random, but just one of the preset color schemes. I think on certain exams where questions have multiple parts, I've seen a later part have a statement that says, use this number if you didn't get an answer in the last part. Yeah, I've seen that. Hang on, we should have a look at the at the exams. Let's take a look at the maths exam from 2023. I'll translate, of course. So 19 questions, 76 points. That's an average of exactly 4 per question. Yada yada yada. Oh yeah, these are the formulas that you get. You might recognize these. The function f is shown here for x is bigger than 0 by fx is 2x plus 1 over x. The function f has a minimum. Calculate exactly this minimum. That's kind of this point, right? So minimums you calculate by deriving the function and seeing where it's 0. I think. At least that will give you all the minimum and maximums. I forgot how you derive a fraction. Because I don't do that anymore. A 2x, of course, on its own. I don't think you can do these on... Can you do them separately? I don't think you can. Well, yeah, it's plus. You can do them separately. 1 over x equals x to the power minus 1. Yeah, but then you get x to the power 0, so... Doesn't work for that, right? Oh, no, wait, then never mind. Then you get x to the power minus 2. So this would be 2 plus... I'm terrible at this. You just get x to the power minus 2, yeah. It's been years. So you get the minimum. And then line k is the diagonal asymptote, that's an English word, I'm not sure, of the graph f. So eventually f will reach k in infinity. And then the plane v is, well, it's the grey thing. And then the lines x is a and x equals 2a, with a is bigger than 0. In the figure, this area is, for a certain value of a, it's grey. And then the area of this area is independent of the value of a. Prove this. You know, and then you just... That's very simple to prove that, because you just calculate the area by, I don't know, integrations or whatever, and then you just work it out until you lose all the a's. If you have no a in your answer, then that means that it's independent of a. Oh, it's the integration, yeah, for x, 1 over x. That's different. Let's see what other... They oh yeah, like they always get interesting things. Weird things that you have to calculate. It's a lot, this, and translating this all would be too much. Because it's kind of like very specific. So I'm kind of slow in translating this. I wonder how well I could do right now on an exam like this. Oh yeah, this was always fun. You get a few distances and whatever. And you have to calculate stuff. Like you get like EB and then you have to calculate the length of, I don't know, EP. Stuff like that. But yeah, I did stuff like this. I remember I had the proof questions. These we called like proof, like proofs. This stuff with the triangles and the circles and the rectangles. And I had no idea how to do that during my exam. The questions we got. But then suddenly, like, I don't know, like 20 minutes before the end, I was like, I know this. And I did them all. And I got an 8.1 on my maths exam, which was my highest grade. We're still doing roller coasters, aren't we? When I woke up this morning, I wasn't expecting to be checking out Dutch exams. Neither did I. Let's build one more ride. How about a bot hire? Just so that people can get lost. How do proofs fall into RST2? I mean, there's not a whole lot of proving to do. I guess. It's just calculating stuff. For the first question, if you find the derivative, you'd already get 1 point. Yeah, I might eventually have figured out how to do that. But stuff like that, last time I did that's too long ago for me to get a really good score, I guess. Now I wonder, will these guests be able to properly find their way back, or will they kind of be stuck? They can find their way back. They're apparently not too stupid. The nice thing about boat heist is it only has a clearance of 1 unit. And the boats themselves as well, they can go under there. Right, that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you had a good stream, I certainly did. And we built a rather nice park in Crazy Castle. For scenarios where you need to get X amount of guests, do you consider it cheesy to use ads? No. I mean, you can give yourself a challenge to not use ads, but it's not cheesy. That's what they're for. Right, let's see how much I can... who I can raid. Ooh, lots of people. Natty or Andrelzik? Let's raid Natty. Alright, thank you very much for watching. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye bye, have fun at Natty's stream.